Welcome to our Sunny Coast 70.3 race recap. Woohoo! This was our first TNA event where athletes from all over the world came in to do this race, and I would have to say it was a massive success, so we're definitely going to do it again next year. What do you reckon, guys?
Oh, yeah.
Absolutely. Yes.
We're coming back.
We're coming back, baby.
So we have Kelly, who flew all the way from Idaho Falls in the USA, and we had Steve, who came all the way from a tiny, tiny little town called Tiny near Ontario, Canada. And Lynn came from Adelaide. Mokka came from New South Wales. Leanne lives on the coast, so she just had to drive. And a few of us came up from Brisbane. So it was so cool to meet people in the flesh that we've only seen like the top halves of for a number of years now. Steve definitely won the award for furthest distance travelled. He travelled 14,912 kilometres or 9,266 miles.
And that's about the same distance that I swam in the ocean the other day.
And Kelly came in a very close second with 12,371 kilometres or 7,687 miles. So, oh man, thank you guys so much for making the effort to come across. It's been so good having you, one, in our country and all the observations you've made about Australia, but two, just to meet you guys, because we've known each other since September 2022.
It's crazy how fast that's gone by, and that we have only ever done this online thing for so long, and then to come here, it's like surreal to actually physically hang out with everybody. It's been wild.
It's been fun, real fun.
Maybe a little too fun, because in an ideal race preparation, you spend a lot of time by yourself and have your feet up and, eat exactly what you need to eat. But you guys had a bit of FOMO in a way and just wanted to like get amongst it like little puppies, like tails wagging, wanted to be with everyone and talk with everyone all the time, which is, not the ideal race preparation, but too fun to miss out and sit in your hotel room.
Absolutely. Well, I had to remind myself to get away from those coffee shops and, go and chill in the room where it's nice and cool out of the sun. But yeah, so easy to get caught up in all the, the vibe, right? And it's just an awesome vibe over there at Sunshine Coast.
It is, and follow up with what Steve was saying is, when I am one of those type of people that I am really careful not to do anything before race day. I'm trying to protect everything and make sure I eat the right things so I perform well. And I got here and I was just enjoying myself so much with everybody that I was eating all these things I probably wouldn't otherwise eat, enjoying the great food and the company, and it was a great experience.
So good.
The thing that confused me the most was, I didn't realize there was 1,428 ways to order a coffee here. So that really messed with my head and it threw me off.
But we got that sorted on day one, right? Teaching the Canadian how to order an actual coffee.
Oh my gosh, long black, skinny lattes. There's just so many ways. I'm still spinning.
We didn't go down the magic route, so we protected you from all the options that you can order.
I didn't even use any F-bombs when I ordered the coffee, though. I feel like I've missed out on something, though.
So un-Australian of you.
I got to come back for that reason.
How have you enjoyed travelling all the way to Australia to do a race?
For me, this is... I was nervous because our flight was 22 and a half hours, and then with layovers and all that stuff, it was 36 hours of getting here. So I actually kind of thought, you know what, I'm going to be just totally done. I'll need 3 days to recuperate before I can even think about, doing a 70.3. But things went really well. You did that masterclass on the jet lag, and you talked about an app that I used and followed as much as I could. So anyway, some of the stuff that you taught us worked really well for. So it made a big... I got here, and honest to goodness, I felt great. I never felt the jet lag thing. I never felt like, oh my gosh, I'm a zombie. I need to sleep for a day or two. None of that. Didn't happen. So
no jet lag. Just missed it. Bypassed the jet lag altogether.
Pretty much. Honest to goodness, I genuinely, sincerely saying, did not feel the jet lag. And this is the longest flight that I've ever... We've been to Europe and flown to different places where 6, 7, 8 hour flights, which isn't so bad, I guess. But this was a long one. And I just, things went super well.
Yeah, it is a long way away. Now you know how we feel if we ever want to travel to anywhere other than Australia, because it's 24 hours plus to get somewhere.
like I wouldn't want to do it every other month, put it that way, but once a year, like this is I first thought about this as a bucket list thing, like I'm going to check that box and I'll don't have to do that again because it's but this is going to be more going to come back. We're coming back.
We're coming back.
I looked at the registration for next year. It's September 14th next year.
Oh, they've already got a date? Wow, that was fast. Of course they did.
September
Get you in
14th.
that post-race euphoria.
Registration's not open, but I put in the reminder thing so they'll email me when it opens. And but it's September 14th, 2025. So
all right, book your accommodation. Book your ACOM before the accommodation places realise that it's the Sunny Coast weekend and jack up their prices by more than 50%.
Yeah, exactly.
I would do that first.
Yeah.
What about you, Kelly? How have you enjoyed coming all the way to Australia to do a race?
It worked out really well. It's very similar to Steve's experience. I had a little bit shorter flight. I came through Salt Lake City, then LAX, and then it was like 14-and-a-half-hour flight from LAX to Sydney, and that's difficult in that whenever you try to follow some kind of plan, you gave us a jet lag plan to help us out, but on the flight, you're a victim to when they serve the food, right? And so you have to wake up and eat. And, anyway, all in all, it worked out really well because I had I think it was an 8-hour layover in Sydney before I flew on up to Mooloolaba. And the way it all worked out with the timing and sequence of when do you sleep, when do you do certain things, it worked out great. So when I got here, typically my sleep schedule would be way off and I'd be trying to sleep in the middle of the day or take naps and things like that. And I didn't have any of that. I was tired when it was bedtime, but it all just tended to just kind of roll out really smoothly where I went to bed at my regular time and I slept really well. I've been sleeping really well all the time that I've been here. So I can't really say that jet lag interfered or was even really that noticeable the entire time I've been here. I mean, it's just been a great experience.
Oh, so good. How good is that to come all the way from Canada and the US with no jet lag or very minimal jet lag?
Yeah, I mean, this is something that's going to be, I'm going to incorporate into all of my future travel. So it's not just something I've learned here and it was a one-time thing. It's like, wow, this is a new tool that will fit in every aspect of future travel.
Yes, so good. And everyone smashed it out there as well. I don't think anyone was particularly unhappy with their race. We had PBs flying left, right and centre. I think Lisa did a massive 19-minute PB. Paul did a whopping 15-minute PB. And Paul's time, get this, Paul did a 4:44:44. Not even joking.
He said he's going to retire now. That's it. He'd never repeat that again.
Oh, no,
maybe he'll do a 3:33:33. I don't know. He's probably
Yeah.
So good. And look, Steve, you had a massive PB as well. Tell me about your 70.3 PB.
Wow, there's not enough time on the podcast.
In the concise version.
Yeah. So I felt great. And I came in just under 6 hours, like 6:57. Lynn beat me by a minute. Thank you, Lynn.
Damn it.
Good job.
No worries, Steve.
Well, it's all good. If I could learn how to run and swim in the ocean, I'd be crushing it. The last half Ironman I did was 7 hours and 1 minute, and this was 6:57, I think. So like a full hour plus faster. And I will just say the thing that I always going back to things that I struggled with, and that was leg cramping. And I think, and Taryn, you walked me through a lot of this stuff. We're going back like a year and a half, 2 years ago talking about this stuff, and you talked about nutrition and hydration being the culprit, all of those things. And so I've worked on that with everything, the recovery, nutrition, and everything else. And on Sunday, like there was never once in the entire 6 hours where I felt like, oh, here it comes. Like I can feel the little twitchy. It's gonna go. Am I gonna start cramping? Never felt that at all. So it felt great. And I mean, I just kept moving. And honest to goodness, like that swim was. Like I did a 48-minute swim, and I was hoping for somewhere like 42 minutes. So even with that, and I got out of the water, and I was really freaking exhausted. I was walking up the beach. You saw me. I wasn't running to the trench because I was like, oh my God, I don't know if I could do this now. But, I got through that and hopped on the bike, and it took about 10K before the salt water that I swallowed kind of evaporated, I guess.
Extra sodium intake?
did a pretty darn good bike. Usually that's my strong point. And then with the run, I did walk through the aid stations, a lot of them, and hit the electrolytes, the Coke, and the water, putting the water down the back of my neck. And all in all, I mean, I'm super happy that I finished under 6 hours. I set one of our other TNA athletes is Erin Burge, and she sets these 3 goals all the time. So I wrote them down and sealed them up, and I showed Lynn, my wife, the next day, and I said, here are my goals. And one was 5 hours and 30 minutes, which was going to be like, wow. And the other one was anything under 6 hours. And then the other one was finish. So I hit the middle one, and I said, you know what? I'm happy. I hit one of my goals, and super happy. No cramping, felt great. And so next year it'll be a better swim, and it'll be running through those aid stations, and we're shooting for something better. But I'm super happy. It was great.
I'm looking out my window this morning because I'm still in my hotel.
Don't
looking
tell
out
me
over
it's calm out there.
Looking out over the race venue, and the water is as calm for all the days that we've been here. Today is just perfectly calm. There's all these people out there swimming and surfing, doing some kind of training and stuff. It's just beautiful out there.
Taryn put a hex on the swim venue on Sunday. Because she barely trained and goes out there and swims a 140 per 100 and crushes it with 36 minutes or something silly like that.
32, mate.
Yeah.
32.
Oh,
it was hard. That water was rough. I was miserable out there. That water was rough. I am not an ocean swimming person. I mean, that motion sickness was a hard swim for me too.
Yeah.
And I struggled, and I was so glad when it was over. We got to that last green turn buoy, call it a can here. When we got there and turned, went to the finish line, I was so glad to get there because I did not like that swim.
My Strava buddies were commenting on my stuff, saying, you know what? It's a great experience. It toughens you up. You learn from it. And yeah, I'm coming back. Like I'm going to do better on that swim next year. I don't care how choppy or wavy it is. I'm taking that ocean back.
Yeah, me too.
It was a very rough. It was a very rough swim. It is not usually like that, so I'm sorry that you had to endure that.
I love it. I love it. It's not usually like that. You know how many times I've heard that in the
not.
last 3 days? It's a freaking broken record. It's not usually like that. Honestly.
I'm glad that I took you into the ocean a couple of days before then, though, just to show you what it's like out there when it can be rough, because I took you out when it was even worse than that, and you were like, oh my God. I'm like, don't worry, race day will be better than this, but I'm glad that we did that so that you had an expectation, and then hopefully we exceeded that with how calm it was in comparison.
I think the race day was better than when we went out, because
it was
on that day that you took us out there. I mean, I got smacked by a couple of waves. I mean, honestly, like it hurt. I got out of there, and I said to you, Taryn, I'm like, I wasn't panicking, but I was very uncomfortable.
Yeah,
not gonna lie.
Swimming in the ocean is very different to swimming in a lake.
Yeah. Yes, very different.
Huge. Great
the water tastes different. A lot different.
Yes, it does.
My nutrition in my bottle wasn't as concentrated as that stuff, I don't think. Oh my gosh.
It's very salty. And I do have to say a big thank you to Lee for putting our team TNA together and forcing me out of retirement, because I had a great time. I had the best swim ever. It's like just cruising along, being like, this is awesome. Why don't I do this anymore? But I'm glad that I didn't have to ride and then run off the back of that. Lee, you got to do the ride and we had Chris do the run. And we smashed it. How did we go?
Yeah, pretty good. We're very smooth on the changeover. You were a bit faster than I thought you were going to be, so I almost got caught in you guys call it the porta potty. But I was there running out, doing up my helmet, mouthful of lollies. And yeah, we did pretty well. I was a little bit naughty and got in the sin bin for drafting. Oops. I didn't do it on purpose, everybody. That's the first time ever in the sin bin in 30 years. So anyway, I'll take that.
That's good. That's good aggressive behavior. That's how you win. You got to get out there and do it.
Yeah, you gotta force it. You gotta push the limits.
So my goal, I wanted to get it under 3 hours. So I got it in 2:55, and that included the penalty. So I was
3-minute penalty.
Yeah, I was happy with that because I've been doing a little bit of just riding on my trainer for an hour or so in the garage, and then I went out on the road and went a little bit further. So yeah, that was great, and it was good to see. I saw a few people from our TNA crew every now and then. I saw Lisa a few times, and I saw Lynn, and I heard someone yell out to me, but I didn't see who it was. So it might have been Steve or Kelly. I think it was a man voice. But yeah, it was good. And then our teammate Chris, who's one of my mum friends, stepped in, and she just smashed it on the run course, and just on 2 hours. So yeah, we were happy with that, and an unexpected little trip to the podium, which is, again, the first time ever for me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we have to try harder next year then.
Yeah, we will. We're definitely doing it.
Right, so that's so Taryn's already committing to be on the team next year.
That's
That's
what
great.
I was going to say. It sounds like
heard
Taryn's
that.
signing
Well
up
done,
for that
Taryn.
swim leg again.
I'm not sure.
Although, you need to mix it up because Taryn's too fast on the swim. We need someone else to swim, and she can do the bike or the run.
No, don't mess with a good thing, Kelly. My goal was just to beat you North Americans, and I did that. I swam 32 minutes, which actually surprised myself. I was like, all right, if I get under 40 minutes, I'll be all right. But yeah, I came out of the water, and I looked at my watch, and it said 32 minutes. I was like, yeah! So I ran up the hill.
That was impressive. I couldn't believe you were that fast. That was impressive.
Oh my God! You had time. You went shopping, got some groceries, fed your baby, came back, and then you watched me come out of the water 16 minutes later.
Yeah.
I should have actually swum faster. I wasn't sure. I've never done 1.9
now
Ks in
you're
it.
just getting cocky. I should have swum.
I should have. I really
had
held
too
back.
much fun.
28 minutes next year. Oh my!
Yeah,
I should have swum faster too, but I freaking couldn't. I was swimming faster.
I could have
go.
I honestly could have gone way harder.
Oh my gosh!
I was just enjoying myself.
I was so far off course. I heard this guy in a kayak going, "Where you going, mate?" I think I was probably like 500 meters from the green buoy, and I'm going ashore, baby. I was like, "Where are you going, mate?" Like, I can't see the buoys. I'm like taking my goggles off. I'm floating in the water, and I'm looking. I'm going, I can't. The sun's in my face. I can't see
my
nothing.
goodness.
Like, where the hell am I?
Okay, so next year we'll do a masterclass on how to sight, because there's so many things that I know that I take for granted, like how to sight.
I got a bone to pick with you, Taryn, because
What?
after the race was done, and
Yeah.
I think we were at the restaurant, and we were talking about this thing, and you're like, well, I don't sight the buoys. I find a spot on shore, like a big apartment building or something, and I just sight. I was like, thanks for telling me now that the race is done.
I know,
That's
I
one of
didn't-
your secret powers, yeah.
Well, I forgot I knew that until I was in there, and I was like, I can't see
course you
shit,
did.
so I just
Of course
used
you
that
did.
skill.
I
No,
didn't have that.
next time we'll go out and we'll do some ocean swimming practice, and I'll teach you some of those things that I forget that I know. It's been a long time since I've done something like this. Remember, like everything was dusty.
Yeah,
It's cobwebs all over the
30.
goggles.
Oh my
Yeah.
gosh, my 32 minutes, I'm so rusty on my swim. I can't just wait till I train and do this. I'll be back in the Olympics again someday.
I was channeling my inner Chad, who is one of our athletes and a coach, and he's in the Hall of Fame for swimming. He's so fast. So he was like, maybe you'll do about 40 minutes, Tara, and you'll still beat Kelly. It's okay. You should do 3 sessions a week. And
Who's
Becky
my
was like,
coach?
yeah.
And he was telling you, you're going to beat me? That guy, I'm going to have a talk with him.
You know what you meant to say, Kelly? He was your coach.
Yeah.
He's a great coach. And
He is
Becky,
a great coach.
another athlete that is a coach, she's like, yeah, you need to do 3 sessions a week. You need to do 1 that's strength. You need to do 1 that's endurance. You need to do 1 that's speed. I was like, Becky, I am lucky to get 1 swim a week in at the minute. Stop overcomplicating things. So I was like, all right, I'll aim for 40 minutes. I'll be stoked if I get under 40 minutes. And yeah. Anyway, we had a great time. We came third. I had to stand on the podium by myself because everyone else had gone home to kids. So I was like representing for Team TNA. But yes, I am not committing just yet, but perhaps we will do it again next year, and I will perhaps swim. I was actually thinking, do I swim this week? Do I go swimming training tomorrow, or is that it? Do I pull the card? What's the
You don't
plan?
need to practice. You don't need to practice. Just show up next year.
Taryn,
You'll be fine.
if Kelly and I are willing to book our flights and accommodations, come back here next year all that way, You
Yeah.
damn well better be in that ocean or doing one leg of a relay.
Amen. Amen.
It was really cool. It was good to like high five my kids on the swim exit and stuff like that. And I wanted to get in and do it again. I was like, why is this over now? 30 minutes? I just got jibbed.
And your youngest will be older. You'll have more free time.
Yes, yeah, that was pretty intense, but you know, it won't be like that again. All right, moving on from my awesome swimming performance.
Good job, Karen.
It's all about me.
Let me bask in a little bit of glory for a second. Never get to do it.
You deserve
Straight back into reality. And Lynn, you came to do the race off the back of doing Townsville Worlds just before, and even drove down, and you know, you have been away from home for a long time. How did it go racing Sunny Coast on tired legs from Worlds?
It wasn't too bad. I had a 2-week break in between. So I just made sure I had my recovery foods from Townsville, and then just chose healthy foods all the way down. And when I got to Sunny Coast, I had my race plan, I had my nutrition plan, and I even made like contingency in case it was going to be warm. And because the race is of a longer nature than what I had up at Townsville, I just had a plan, but had a backup plan just in case I needed anything during the race. As it turned out, I didn't make any adjustments to my plan, my nutrition plan. It flowed really well. I felt good the whole way. Finished strong, which was great. And best of all, no cramping.
Yeah!
Finally. Yeah.
I know the feeling.
Yeah, it's a good feeling, because I kept thinking in the back of my mind, you know, sometime during the race, it's probably going to raise its ugly little head and start saying, "I'm here."
You floated by me at that one point. We were going along on the run, and I watched you running away from me.
Yeah, yeah.
It seemed to be somewhat effortless for you, but the way you look very comfortable running out there the other day.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, it worked well. My paces were right on target, so I was super happy with that. Yeah, it was a good day, and I carry everything with me. Only thing I took from the aid stations was water, and yeah, like I said, all the meticulous planning we did with you, Taryn, paid off. So yeah, really happy keeping that plan.
Yes.
Yeah.
So yeah.
It's
good.
nice when you finally get it right and you're like, yes, I got this now. I got it all figured out and everything's working. And now you can just make tiny little tweaks to it depending on what race it is, what the course is, whatever is happening for that particular event. But that's
right.
awesome, Lynn. And yeah, I was stoked. Yeah. Even Jerry was like, oh, I'm worried about Lynn. She's been worried about cramping. I was like, nah, she'll be fine, mate.
Yeah. Yeah, well, every race up until now, I think I've had an issue. So, yeah, it's just refreshing to be able to just focus on what you're doing and not have to worry about, you know, constantly stopping and rectifying things and trying to get your head back into the game. And, yeah,
it was interesting being out on the course and when I was running and actually on the bike as well to see various people on the side. And they're trying to work out their cramping and stuff. I thought, oh man, I know what they're going through. And I'm like, let's keep on going. But,
yeah. And there was a few that had stopped. I noticed it too. And I thought, oh, gee, I know exactly what you're going through. Yeah, it's not fun. Not fun at all.
Fun.
Yeah.
I will say too, like after the race was done, it wasn't like I was going to lay down and die. I mean, I was like, oh, this is great. You know, we're walking around, Lynn, you and I, and Kelly and my wife Lynn, and we're watching the rest of the people coming in, and I'm like, yeah, I'm tired, but I feel pretty good. And like the next day, I'm like, if I needed to do a run, I would easily go for a run. It's not like I felt like, oh my god, I got to take a 1 or 2 week break, and I am done here. I'm cooked. Nothing like that at all, which is really amazing for me.
Is that new feeling for you? You haven't really experienced that before.
Oh my. No kidding.
So I had a new experience this race, which is going to be of a kind of a different nature, but usually one of the things that I always have to build in is I have to stop and pee someplace along the way, right? I mean, that's a long way, a 6-hour race. Well, so you kind of, Taryn, you kind of changed up my plan and did some things that affected that, the hydration protocols and the acute sodium loading. So the way this all worked out for me in this particular race is I didn't have to stop and pee the entire race. And so for 5 hours and 50 minutes, I did not have to stop, which is a first. So that course saved time, right? And so that improved. I had a 16-minute improvement of my fast. This was my fastest 70.3, and it was 16 minutes faster than my race in June, and that one in June was the fastest to date so far. So all these little things are adding up and really helping with my performance. That, my nutrition plan overall was really great, but the hydrations are getting dialed in, sodium loading, acute sodium loading, got dialed in, and this was a great performance here. The weather was perfect, of course, and I was full of energy. I mean, when we got done racing, and Taryn, I was up on the hill with you. We were watching some of the other racers coming in. And after that was over, I had went down and got my medal engraved, and I was thinking, oh, you know what, I'm behind. All these people are waiting for me. I better get to transition and get my gear. Yeah. And so I felt good enough, which I don't think I've really done this too much in the past, but I really felt pretty good. So I was way over at the Ironman merchandise tent, which is at the opposite end of the whole venue from where transition is. It's probably a kilometer or more apart, maybe, I don't know, at least one. And I'm thinking, man, I'm behind. So I started running. I felt good enough that I was running through the crowds, through the venues, down the sidewalk, trying to get the transition so I could meet up and do whatever we were going to do there as a group. And as I'm passing, it's actually about the finish line at this point, and I hear people starting to yell at me, and I'm thinking, what are they cheering me on for? I'm not cheering me on, are they? And they're yelling, kill it. And so I stopped and turned around, and everybody was there already in the group. They were walking along, and I didn't even notice them. I was, headed off, running, trying to get to transition so I could catch up with everybody. But I was really feeling pretty good. I mean, I was still able to get out there, running.
I had a new experience as well, speaking of the hydration and all that, because I'm a heavy sweater. And usually, I never, ever get any remote sensation of having to go pee on any part of the course that I've ever done. But yesterday, and I was telling this to my wife, I'm like, oh my gosh, I said it was like the last 5K, and I thought I was going to piss myself. Physically, I thought, oh, this is what incontinence feels like. I'm like, I can't believe this is not, how can this be me? So I must have really hydrated well, because I actually felt like, shit, I'm going to have to stop and find a porta potty with the... And of course, my kids were watching the YouTube finish line, and they told me after, Dad, we saw you, there was 3K to go, and they were like, I know he wants to get under 6 hours, and they were rooting me on, cheering me on, because they thought I might not make it. And I'm thinking to myself too, if I gotta friggin' stop and go for a leak now, this is
yeah, it's horrible.
Kept going, but
yeah, you
I
hate
actually
to.
thought I was gonna piss my pants at one point.
Yeah. So we have two ends of the spectrums there. We have Kelly, who constantly pees in races, and we're trying to get him to stop, and Steve, who is so dehydrated normally that we're trying to get him to drink more, and he did a great job this time. Yeah. To the point where he actually felt like he needed to go to the toilet. So we've had improvements in all facets of racing, which is nice to see. Oh, it has been such an awesome time. So we are only a couple of days post-race now recording this, and I miss you guys. I'm back home now. Everyone's gone to do their own kind of different thing. People are back to work already. I miss you guys. It's good to connect already this early. But it was so much fun, and we are going to do Sunny Coast 70.3 next year, because Chris, one of our other athletes in the September program that came through with this group, was going to come this year, but he couldn't, so he had to defer for next year. So we will be back at Sunny Coast 70.3 for 2025 for our annual TNA event. And then beyond that, we'll go a little bit further. Maybe we'll go up to North America or over to Europe or somewhere like that, a little bit closer to home for you guys. And we'll have to use our jet lag adaptation plans to get to you guys.
There you go.
But yeah, thank you so much for, I guess everything, entrusting me with your nutrition, and then entrusting me enough to come to my country to do a race. It's the best ever. Woo!
Yeah, it was great. Loved it. Absolutely loved the experience. I mean, it was just, in every way, it's been a great experience. That the travel here was a good experience. It turned out well. While we've been here, you guys have taken great care of us. We've had great social interactions, which has just been the most fun I've had in years. And you're always worried about, am I going to get sick before race day, or what's going to go wrong, what's going to mess up. None of that happened. I mean, everything just worked out flawlessly. The race execution was perfect, and the race is over. We had a great time. I mean, everything's just been perfect. it's just, I can't believe how well this has gone. I really thank you guys that are here taking care of us. It's just better than I could have imagined that it would turn out.
And Kelly even drove on the other side of the road. That's very
I
exciting.
I drove. I drove for the first time, right? And it worked out okay. I mean, there's a lot of traffic. It was pretty smooth. I did have one startling moment on the drive where I went to signal to change lanes and the windshield wipers came on. So, because they're on the opposite side of the steering wheel here. So it took me a little bit of time to figure that out. But other than that, yeah, I'm learning to drive on the wrong side of the road.
On the
And I'm
right
learning
side.
how to talk. I'm learning how to talk like an Australian, which means I only need to know 10 words, and 9 of them are the F word, and I'll be okay.
And if you're not sure, you just insert an F word into whatever you're saying.
Yeah.
That's right. You can't go wrong here.
Oh, you go,
F&A,
yeah,
baby.
nah. Yeah, nah,
Yeah,
yeah.
nah.
Yeah, nah.
Yeah, nah.
Yeah.
Yeah, nah.
Okay. It's a
Yeah,
crack
nah.
up.
All right, guys. So to wrap us up, what is one word that captures how you felt about Sunny Coast 70.3?
Ooh.
Magical.
That's a great one.
Unforgettable.
Brilliant.
Can't think of one word.
Well, that's because you live here. It's just another damn paradise.
Yeah,
I know.
Leanne's thinking, routine, normal.
Yeah.
Ho hum, beautiful weather.
Child free. You should say
Oh,
child
yeah.
free.
That's 2 words.
Put a
Well,
dash
You
in
can
between.
hyphenate it. Yeah, hyphenate it. You'll be right.
Hyphenate it, yeah.
Yeah. All the words. All the love. How about no words? How about this?
Yeah,
Oh, that's a good one.
Aww.
Does my computer work? There we go.
Hearts.
We're on a podcast though, so for people listening, they can't see your little heart symbol with your hands.
Yeah. Oh well, I'll give them that one then.
But you can just say that. Love is your word.
If I could comment on the ocean swim,
Oh, I would agree. I would second that. That ocean swim.
Oh, no.
I am not looking forward to that.
I will never forget the words. It's burned in my memory. Where are you going, mate?
We're gonna get you that on a T-shirt.
Yes.
Well, if it wasn't for that guy, Steve would still be out there swimming, probably.
Steve would have hit
I am
the
getting-
sandbar.
You know what, Leanne's right. I'm getting a T-shirt made. It's gonna be "Where are you going, mate?" And it's gonna be some dude swimming in an ocean with a kayaker beside him.
Way out in the ocean.
Yeah.
Which way you going, mate?
If it's any consolation, Paul and Lisa did the same thing. Like, heaps of people went that wrong way, which is probably why you went the wrong way, and everyone just
Okay,
follows
well,
each other in the
time
group
We just
effect.
followed each other. I did it
Time
too. We all
Time
sort of went in a
Let's-
group and,
It's
had to
like-
head back.
Yeah, they all went the wrong way, but they didn't swim 48 minutes. They still managed to swim like 30-something minutes. There was a guy in the hot tub at our place the day after, and I'm talking to this guy. He's in the 50 to 55 age group, and he's from Australia somewhere. He's like, "Oh, that swim was brutal. I was all over the place." I'm like, "Well, how was your swim time?" He goes, 28 minutes. I'm like, "Dude, I swam 48 minutes. Like 28, and you're telling me you were off course? I hate the hell to see if you were on course. Like, piss off." Jeez. Friggin' Australians, you're a bunch of, you're born with flippers and fins in you, I think. Like,
Yeah.
it's
So if
very-
you're
Yeah,
coming,
Karen.
if you're coming
Yeah.
back next year, then you have to do some open water swimming. That's your homework.
Absolutely. Yeah,
Yeah.
no, I definitely, I got to come here 2 weeks early and just go out there all day, every day.
Yeah. Do something.
Yeah, the swim was humbling, but the overall experience was just like second to none, 100%.
You'll always remember that swim. It'll always be etched in your mind.
Oh, absolutely.
But hopefully it's linked with happy memories.
No, absolutely. You know what? Maybe 10 years ago, I'd be like more angry about it and ho hum whatever. But I'm laughing about it. I just think it's hilarious. Like that. That's
Yeah.
how it went. But I still kept going. Right.
It was a fun day. It was a fun day.
Oh
It was
gosh.
great.
Yeah, absolutely. Great course. I mean, you're riding your bike and getting ocean views coming down the hill and stuff.
Yeah,
Just
beautiful views.
You
Yeah.
can't get like everybody on this TNA programs. Get your ass out here, sign up because you're not gonna regret it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's
It's a
right.
great experience.
I think
That's
we'll
right.
have a bigger cohort next year that comes across to do it. Kelly's
Yeah.
already been working on a few people, but I think, the FOMO is real. Everyone watching along back home was like, oh my God, I wish I was there with you guys because it has been so fun. So unreal to hang out together and, you know, talk about all the Australian things that you need to know. All right, legends, thank you so much for joining me for our Sunny Coast 70.3 race cap. Show us your bling. Yay!
I've got my kids' medal. There we go.
There we go. Where's our actual medals, Leanne?
Oh,
Our
it's
trophies.
our trophies. I can
It's gone
get
straight
it.
to the pool room.
Yeah, straight to the pool room. Next to the Arias, it is.
Oh.
Or the Junos. I'll have to show Steve the Junos, because in Canada they're called Junos, which is my daughter's name.
Yes, I explained to her daughter, I said, do you know that in Canada, the Canadian Music Awards for all the, you know, bands and whatnot are called the Junos? And she had this huge smile on her face, Alien. She was like, whoa, that's cool.
Yeah,
There
cool.
you go.
All right, legends, thank you so much. And yeah, we'll see you back at Sunny Coast 70.3 2025. Come and join us.
Okay.
Join the TNA so you can join Team TNA. Yeah.
Yay!
Go swim.